Guys, I don't care what anyone says. That's a tune. She got a body of a dancer. What? Bobby ate with that one, okay? Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. I hope everyone's doing okay and everyone is doing well. The same day, another review. Today right now we are going to be reviewing episode 7 to 9. It is currently 12:52 a.m. so I'm going to quickly record this and then tomorrow on my break record the finale, which has actually already been spoiled for me by my sister. Thank you very much. But then I'll record the finale and then we'll have the last 2 reviews out on the same day, possibly in the evening. So guys, I'm really proud of us. We managed to do it, okay? We were late, but we did manage to get the reviews out within the space of 3 to 4 days. So yeah, this review is going live in the morning, and then 10 and 11, the finale is going to go live later on in the day. And then that's it, we're done. Okay, we're done. But a lot for us to unpick and unpack. This is going to be a long review. I have notes, so please to get cozy and comfy. As always, if you haven't yet subscribed, be sure to subscribe and definitely join the family. Also be sure to follow me on my Instagram and also my Twitter at SarahDestiny X and number 3, honey. Get yourself cozy and comfy with a drink because there's a lot of talking that we've got to do. But guys, honestly, I'm so happy that I've managed to catch up within the space of a couple of days. But I'm also just so happy with this season. Like, I've absolutely loved this season. So let's start off with Freddie and Catherine. Oh, we're going to start off with episode 7, 8 and 9. Be sure to check the timestamps if you want to know where we're at. So let's start off with Freddie and Catherine shopping. So of course, you guys know that they went out to shop and Freddie was just having like a little joke. Like, he was like, excuse me, do you have these shoes in a size 11? And Catherine was just like, stop it, like you're really getting on my nerves. Like, is everything a joke to you? Is everything funny to you? Like, you're just never. And I just thought, guys, I'll be honest with you, I think Catherine is definitely still annoyed at the fact that she knows that Freddie cheated before in his previous relationship, and she also knows that that's a trauma and also a trigger for her. But I just felt like the way she was complaining, I just felt like Freddie honestly deserves so much better. That's just the vibe that I get. Freddie likes this babe so much. He's such a light-hearted person. He's so bubbly. I already said this. This guy's a funeral director. If you wanted to be a Grinch, Catherine, you would be dating a Grinch. I just feel like she's just easily irritated with him and she doesn't really give him as much grace as he gives her. And yes, she may still be irritated at the fact that, you know, he has cheated in the past. But I do feel like, once again, I said it in my last review, that was a conversation that she should have had, with him in the pod, if it was going to be such a deal breaker for her. But that's just my personal opinion. Let me know if you disagree or you agree. I don't really mind. But of course, Freddie was saying in his one-to-one with the cameras that he feels really misunderstood by her, and he kind of feels like maybe he needs to tone himself down. And honestly, you shouldn't have to tone yourself down for the person that is truly going to accept you for who you are. So yeah, what I said still stands. I think Freddie is an absolute sweetheart, and I feel like, yeah, I'm going to get into it as well, because even with the reunion thing with Catherine and then Sam, and that for me was just we'll get into it. Let me not jump the gun. We'll get into it. Now, let's quickly move on to Demi and Ollie. So Demi and Ollie were going to meet Demi's friends, Jasmine and James, I believe. Yeah, Jasmine and James. They were actually going to have a little Mexican night. And of course, Jasmine and James came over and they pretty much liked him. I won't lie. I think they were asking him the right questions. You know, what do you like about Demi so much? And, you know, I think he was answering the questions quite well. And long story short, he managed to get their seal of approval. But I did really like James and Jasmine. I think they definitely did ask the right questions, even in terms of the whole children thing. And, you know, obviously, you know, Demi has endometriosis. So just all of that, I feel like they were asking the right questions, and they were also able to get a good sense and judge of character from Ollie's character altogether. Now, moving on to Jasmine and Bobby. So they were just speaking, we're going to get into them after anyway, but they were just speaking about, you know, meeting, you know, Jasmine's mom and all of that good stuff, you know, just how the relationship has been going and how things have been. And then Jasmine now, guys, Jasmine brought out, you know, because, you know, Jasmine actually is quite insecure when it comes to social media because of previous relationships that she's had with people in the past who have just been following people, messaging, all that type of stuff. So she was just like, you know, like, I just feel like, you know, things are going really well. And Bobby was like, yeah, like, you know, I'm not trying to be on socials as much. Like, honestly, I'm listening to what you're saying, babe. She now brings out her phone and she's just like, yeah, like, obviously, you know, like, I've done like a YouTube search of you and like your video. Guys, in fact, we're even going to play it. We're going to play it because why did she bring out her phone like that? No, we're actually going to play it. I actually like the song. I'm not going to lie to you. I think the song eats. I'm sorry. I think the song eats. Let's play it. She got the body of a dancer. She got the body of a dancer. Mommy got the body of a dancer. She got the body of a dancer. She got the body of a dancer. She got the body of a dancer. Mommy got the body of a dancer. Guys, I don't care what anyone says. That's a tune. She got a body of a dancer. What? Bobby ate with that one, okay? But honestly, he was saying, you know, I didn't just film that yesterday. That was a couple years ago, but I was absolutely laughing. I'm sorry. The video eats, the song eats. I actually do not care, but the way she brought that out like she was FBI was absolutely hilarious. But of course, she was against saying, you know, the whole, so sorry, I keep laughing because it's actually such a tune, but she kept saying once again the whole social media thing and how that really affected her. But one thing I really love is that Bobby really reassured her. You can tell he was raised in a really good home and he has a really good relationship with his mother. He was just like, honestly, I would never do anything to hurt you. I'm here to reassure you. I'm here to love you, etc, etc. So kudos to them, Mr. Buddy of a Dancer. But yeah, absolutely, I love that. I can't lie. Now let's move on to Freddie now bringing Kat to his house. Not much to discuss. Yeah, not much to discuss there, apart from the fact that all his doors, majority of his doors aren't fitted and they're not done yet. But he definitely does look after his house really well. And, you know, she did apologize for being quite snappy. You know, she was just like, I'm so sorry if I come across being really snappy. This is a new situation for me, new environment, blah, blah, blah. And he apologized like, no, honestly, don't be sorry. You know, I'm sorry if I... And the thing is, it's like, cool, I get it. He really liked her. And you are going to want to apologize when someone does come to you with a problem that they have. But I don't know if I feel like Freddie should have apologized. He shouldn't have to apologize for being himself. All he had to say was that he understands what she's saying. But in terms of saying sorry because you think you're responsible for her being snappy, no, baby. Okay, no. Now let's move on to Maria and Tom having a brief conversation. They went out and obviously spoke about some of the comments that Tom made. You guys know in regards to Tom saying that he feels that she's judgmental. He was judgmental towards her job because, you know, she's a makeup artist and some people just look down on people with different jobs and all that good stuff, or bad stuff, shall I say, and all that stuff as well, right? But obviously she mentioned the fact, they ended up hashing it out, but she also mentioned the fact that, listen, when you do meet my family, you know, all that PDA stuff is kind of not allowed. In my culture, in my religion, you guys know that Maria is Muslim, you know, all that PDA stuff goes completely out of the window. But of course they did end up getting quite emotional again because, you know, he was speaking about how, you know, I just wonder how your dad will take to me and how he would have taken to me if he was still alive, God rest his soul. And she was just, you know, just got emotional about it as well. I think she said her father passed away, I think 4 years ago. But I actually do really like Tom and Maria together. I do feel like when we do get into this review, you'll kind of get more of my feedback and my views anyway. But I think as the episode went on, I was just like, it's given Tom does like her, but he's not ready for marriage with her. I don't doubt that he likes Maria. I just don't think he's ready for marriage, which is why I don't understand why. Anyway, I'll get into it. Sarah, don't jump the gun. Don't jump the gun. Next, moving on to Ollie and Demi. Obviously, they were speaking about their differences and things that work and things that don't work. And she was saying, by the way, I noticed that you pace up and down. I noticed that you're very impulsive. I noticed that you're this. I noticed that you're that. And then that's when he actually did let her know that he actually does have ADHD. And it's not something that he usually tells people. So I think even just from that conversation, it did let me know how much Demi is very attentive to him, because he didn't even have to say that, and she was able to kind of pick up on his characteristics and his traits and things that he does all together. And I do think it was really nice that she did notice that without him having to say it, and also that he felt comfortable even more to speak about it with her as well. So I do think Ollie and Demi have definitely taken huge strides in their relationship. I won't lie. You definitely see why they connected in the pods even without seeing each other, because there definitely is a very emotional and caring connection there as well. I sound like a professional, okay? I sound like a pro. Now let's move on back to Catherine now meeting Freddie's mum, brother-in-law, brother Jack, who's absolutely sweet, so cute, honestly, and also his sister Betsy, who is absolutely stunning. What a good family. What a beautiful family. Honestly, what a beautiful family. His mum name is Wendy. Guys, I don't know, one thing about me is I actually always remember people's names, and I remember people's names quickly, but also I just remember people's names. Like, why do I remember that his mom's name is Wendy? That's not even in my notes. Anyway, so of course they were speaking about settling down, and you know, Freddie's mom was speaking about how amazing Freddie is and that everyone really loves him. Like, obviously he's lovely, isn't he? He's just so loyal. Then the camera panned to Kat and she was like, because obviously she's referencing the fact that he had cheated, but honestly, I just feel like if she's going to move on with him, she's going to have to let that go, because that is not their story together. That is his story with other people in the past. You know what I mean? Anyway, they were all speaking, and, you know, his family were just saying how much they definitely liked her. And then Freddie even ended up asking Jack, who is his brother, his younger brother, with Down syndrome, to be his best man. And guys, my eyes was actually watering, because it was just so lovely. Like, you know, he was saying, you know, his brother Jack is the reason why he's the man that he is today, you know, after looking after him. him, just being his brother, being his protector, like, it was honestly just the sweetest thing. And there was actually tears in my eyes. Okay, why am I actually crying? Not now, something's in my eye, but at the time, one tear was shed. Of course, now Betsy decided that she wanted to speak to Freddie outside, and she just wanted to kind of like, you know, just speak to him, sister to brother, sibling to sibling, you know, what exactly is going on. And as they were having a conversation, he was saying, you know, we do get on really, really well, but at the same time, we do have very interesting differences. And sometimes he wonders if he is enough for her. And his sister instantly was like, why do you have to think if you're enough for her? What if she's not enough for you? And I just thought, that is a good, sometimes you be thinking you're the problem, but no, that person is the problem. Or you think you're not good enough for that person, but you have to ask yourself, does that person match my vibe? You know what I mean? Like, do you know what I mean? So I was happy that she did pose that question, because I do feel like it allowed Freddie to actually think about the situation a lot more. And even if he does like this cat babe, is she enough for me? It's not necessarily about me being enough for her. Is she honestly enough for me? So I really did love that. Next, moving on to Tom now meeting Maria's family. Guys, Maria's family is so sweet. Her mom is absolutely so cute. Honestly, so cute. And she actually greeted Tom as her future son, which was absolutely adorable. But of course, they were just really getting to know him, especially her sister Salma, who definitely stands on business. Just wanting to find out, you know, what do you like about my sister? How was this process for you? What made you go through this process? You know, how are things going to be moving forward as well? And yeah, I really also love the fact that even Fatima, who's Maria's mum, once again, I'm just remembering people's names, why? But Maria's mum, Fatima, or Auntie Fatima, shall I say, when she was speaking to Freddie, you know, Freddie even asked, you know, I just wanted to know, you know, if it happens and stuff, like, you know, can I have your blessing? And she said, yeah, 1000% sure. Like, of course you can. You're really lovely. You're welcome in this family and stuff like that. So for me, that was a step in a good direction. Sorry. And in the right direction in terms of Tom wanting to marry Maria. But I don't know the spoiler for Tom and Maria yet. I'll find out tomorrow. But I don't know. I feel like he does like her. I just don't know if he likes her enough to marry her at this moment, okay? But it was very respectful that he did ask her for a blessing and for the blessing to marry his daughter if he does go ahead with it. Now let's move on to Sabrina and Stephen, of course, meeting his best friends and also his brother. That interaction was quite funny because they were just like, you know, his friends didn't actually know that, you know, the experiment meant that it would lead to a proposal and also a potential marriage. So his friends were like, that's absolutely insane. That's insane. I wouldn't do that. I think that's absolutely crazy, mate. I'll be honest with you. I feel like, yeah, like, I would never do that. I was with my missus. It took me 5 years to propose. Boom, over 2 years. I was just thinking, oh God, this isn't your story. Okay, it's not your story. But she did end up getting the seal of approval, and they said, you know, she seems lovely. There's a spark in Steve's eyes. You know, it just makes sense that they are together. So that was also quite nice. And last but not least, before we move on to episode 8, Nicola and Benaya meeting her parents. Wow, what a beautiful family. Like, her mum and dad are just the absolute cutest. You can tell she comes from a family and a home of love. Okay, I love Nicola and Nicole and Benaya together. I have already been telling you guys this. Sam had no business speaking to that babe, okay? Okay, but of course they really wanted to get to know her a bit more, and her mum was just saying, you know, love grows, and her dad was just saying, you know, you have to be patient with one another along this journey, which I thought was really, really, really good advice. But they did give their seal of approval as well. And I just think Nicole and Benaya, they just click. Like, they really match each other's fly. Good energy, good vibes. I love the fact that, you know, this is a second, by God's grace, God willing, it will be a second marriage for Nicole, and I really do hope it is fruitful. And also for Benaya, who's been single for almost 12 years now. Do you know what I mean? So I think they really work well together, and I'm so glad that also he was accepted into their family as well. So that is all of episode 7, guys. I'm going to quickly take a sip and we're going to jump into episode 8. I don't know why I'm holding my drink like that. It's really unnecessary. Okay, guys, let us jump into episode 8, starting off with Nicole and Benaya talking about Sam. So, of course, she made it clear to him that she wanted to give Sam back the ring, and Phineas, shall I say, Phineas back the ring and the bracelet that he gave her in the pods. Initially, you know, Benaya instantly is like, the second he hears Sam, he's just thinking, like, he's guarded all the way up, and he was just like, honestly, I don't think it's that necessary, but, you know, if you want to do what you want to do in regards to getting closure, then that's fine, but I just don't want you to get hoodwinked over him. I want to protect you. I still don't think his intentions are pure, etc, etc. But he even started crying as well, and I think it just goes to show how much Benaya really does care for Nicole and cares for her on a deeper and more emotional level, so much so that he doesn't even want to see her get hurt, because that also affects him as well. And that is a man. Okay, that is a man. Now, moving on to Maria and Tom speaking. You know, he made it very clear to her that his mum is really uneasy about the entire situation, and he has always said that if his mum does not show up to his wedding, that is pretty much going to be a deal breaker for him, and I definitely do understand that. And that, once again, is, I feel like I said, I don't know the spoiler for Maria and Tom just yet, but I feel like they're just throwing little glimpses in there, if you know what I mean, just little glimpses of what's going to happen, and for some reason, I feel like he's going to say no. I'll be honest with you. I'll find out tomorrow when I watch it, but I just feel like Tom is going to say no, because it's just, yeah, if his mum isn't there, I mean, even if he loves her times a million times one, he's just still not going to say yes. So very interesting anyway. Now let's move on to the Love is Blind party. So this is the party for basically everyone who was in the pods, those who made it, those who didn't, those who we saw, those who we didn't see, everyone coming together because it's going to be a link up. So of course the girls are talking about how things have been really good, and Tom and Benai were also having a conversation about something that really bothered him about Maria, that they went out basically on a date and she paid, and you know Maria's very for these traditional roles anyway. She paid. He didn't say anything about it. She raised it after that, you know, I feel like as a man, you need to provide, you need to do this, you need to do that. And yeah, he was just saying instantly, like, it was just to know that she really expects me to pay for everything. Now, I think he does need to be understanding in terms of the type of culture that Maria comes from. That's something that we see reoccurring within that culture, whether it's her Moroccan side, whether it's even like within Muslim families as well, you know, even Christian families, you know, men are seen as the head of the household, and many females anyway, and women want a provider. But we'll get onto it later, because obviously we know that Maria ends up meeting his sisters, but honestly, it was just for ice cream. I didn't think it was that deep. I'll be honest with you. I didn't think it was that deep. Next, moving on to Catherine, now speaking to Maria about her love language with Freddie being different. And once again, that just gave me a little glimpse. I just don't feel like I don't think they're going to make it down the aisle. They are going to make it, but one of them are going to say no. That's the vibe that I'm definitely getting when it comes to Freddie and Catherine. Now, of course, all the other pod squads now end up coming. And honestly, it was just good vibes, seeing all of them together, getting to know one another again, and people meeting the other people that they actually haven't met before. Now, next, moving on to Benai, now talking to Tom about Sam, and then also talking about Tasha. We'll get into that after. I have words that I need to say regarding that. So we'll get into that, because we know a whole separate situation ends up happening. So next, moving on to Ollie, Aaron, and Bobby. They were speaking to Ollie, and they were just like, listen, honestly, like, I know you and Demi are good, but just want to ask you, like, if another girl was to come in here, like, is it strictly, and he was just like, yeah, like, it's strictly Demi, like, I'm happy where I am, she's happy where she is, I think we're in a good place, and I want to keep her at that. Then the girls walk in, and who were the first two girls to walk in? Charlotte and Natasha. Awkward. So obviously Charlotte, I went like, Charlotte is a babe. Like, I really wish we got to see her in the pods. She seems like a babe, really lively, really a girl's girl, really the vibes, you know. Anyway, Charlotte came down looking stunning, and they were just like, rah, like, who's that? Then obviously Natasha came out, and then she's hugging everyone, and Natasha and Tom, you guys know Tom was in two minds in a triangle between Maria and Tasha. So I was even thinking, okay, I don't want this to get awkward, but it's looking like it's going to get awkward. And of course, you guys know that they ended up introducing themselves to one another. We'll get into that after, because they end up having another conversation. Now, we know Ollie now ended up speaking to Aaron and said, obviously, Charlotte at first glance is sublime. That's what he was saying. She's sublime. Like, honestly, she's sublime. But the connection I have with Demi is strong. And when he said that, I just said, okay, good. Okay. That's really good, because the whole point of this experiment isn't to look on the outside appearance as you usually do. It's to focus on the emotional before you think about the physical. And he was saying, you know, he's done the experiment and it would be a shame to come this far and you to go so back. So he's lived it, he's loved it, and he's sticking with his dem. Now, who ends up walking in, guys? Phineas. Oh gosh, when Phineas walked in, I don't know, wait, guys, I just don't get the best vibes from that guy. And I've been telling you guys this since I've done my first impressions. But obviously, Steve now ended up telling Benaya, you know, be cool, like, just don't worry, like, be cool, and it just let me know Benaya hates this guy's guts. The reunion is going to be so good, because Benaya actually hates this guy's guts. So obviously, Phineas now approached him, and he was like to Benaya, like, oh yeah, like, we'll talk. And then Benaya was like, really? No, we don't need to talk. He's just like, what, you don't talk to me? He's just like, no, like, something to talk about, like, maybe we'll talk. Just like, oh, okay, no, that. We maybe don't have to talk, and if I don't want to talk to you, you also can't force me to speak as well. At that moment as well, he also didn't greet Nicole, so hold that, okay? Remember that in your mind. Briefly moving on to Catherine, obviously she kept saying that, you know, Phineas is a spitting image of my ex. To Freddie, by the way, yeah, he's a spitting image of my ex. Wow, look, just like my ex, da, 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 da. Now, Freddie was now like, yeah, you know, Charlotte, you know, yeah, she's a beautiful girl, like she's stunning, like, yeah, like she's attractive. And then Catherine's like, yeah, I heard you the first time. And he was just like, what? Like, I didn't say, and she was like, you just have to overdo it, like, don't you? And he was just like, you've literally just been telling me for the past 5-6 minutes that it looks like my ex, I didn't even raise, I didn't say anything. I didn't tell you to stop talking to me. I didn't even walk away. You now ask me if I find a girl that has walked in attractive, and I told you that twice, and I acted like, do you get what I mean? So I do feel like she was still very much, emotions were still high from the whole cheating thing, but she is easily irritated by Freddie, and Freddie doesn't do anything to her. Like, before the pods even started, I remember when she was saying that she wants to make sure that she marries someone that's fun, someone she can have good fun with. You now have the fun guy, and now you're complaining that he's too fun and he needs to be more serious. Like, I just find it so unfair, okay? She was just like, yeah, I'm gonna walk off. I was just thinking, girl, no, okay? Like, just don't, okay? Just don't. Next, moving on to Ollie. Now, Ollie now went to go and speak with Sam regarding the perceptions of him that people have in the pods and the people outside. Thank you. I don't know why my head is going in the clouds. And he was just like, obviously, like, I don't understand why, you know, why this is going on. Like, why do people feel this way about me? So obviously now, at the same time, Nicole now decided that she was going to go to the toilet, which she actually didn't even end up doing, but okay. Nicole now walked over, and then he ended up pulling her over, like, oh, like, Nicole, like, can I speak with you? And obviously she was speaking about their journey, and he was just speaking about his journey as well. And she was just saying, at the end of the day, like, I just didn't feel like it was right after the pods, you know, there's no bad blood or anything there. I just don't feel like it was, yeah, I just didn't feel like you were my person. Sam now outed her, and this is what I mean by, like, I find him to be quite interesting. I need to reapply lip gloss. This is what I mean when I say, like, I find him to be, where's my lip gloss gone? Oh, here. Yeah, I find him to be quite interesting because, not trying to be funny, we don't know the situation that took place after the pods in regards to Nicole and Phineas, right? We don't know, and that's because the producers didn't show us, and that's fine, whatever. All we know is that it didn't work out, and she ended up going for Benaya. For you to now come and be like, oh yeah, obviously because on the first night you wanted to get physical with me and I didn't want to get physical with you, like, not trying to be funny, not only are you outing her out, but that actually does come across as being quite disrespectful in my eyes. I'm sorry, like, Nicole doesn't even look like someone that can even hurt a fly, I'll be honest with you. I don't know what side she has to her, I've never met her, but from what we've seen from Love is Blind, she seems like a really lovely and down-to-earth person. So for you to just come out and be like, oh yeah, because on the first night, you wanted to get physical, and I wanted to respect your body, I didn't want to, and then he just kept going on about it and going on. At this point, Nicole was just like, honestly, Sam, it's fine, like, for the sake of peace, for the sake of Benaya and I, for the sake of our relationship, it's okay, I just want to close that chapter, I just want to close that door. And she wanted to give him back his ring and also his bracelet. Instantly, he was just like, oh, the ring and the bracelet, it's like you're giving back. And then he even wanted her to take it, and she just said, no, please. I really love Nicole. I think she's so soft-spoken and so lovely. She was just like, no, please, honestly, I want to move on. I want to close this chapter, and I just want to give you back your belongings. And I think that'll be best for Benaya and I, and also for you moving forward as we close the chapter out. Okay. At this point as well, what was so funny was Benaya was giving evils. He hates this guy's guts, was just looking across. And I honestly just think it's also because he just cares for Nicole so much that he wants to protect her. But in that situation, it just reminded me as to why Sam just doesn't, I don't get him. He doesn't click with me well. I'm not really here for his vibe, I'll be honest with you. And I think it's going to stay like that. So the reunion should be very, very, very interesting. Moving back to Catherine and Freddie, of course, she ended up telling him that she is upset with him, and that, you know, she said that she feels really insecure and everything like that. And what was really weird was, you know, Freddie was still even trying to reassure her at that moment, but then she walked off and then she went to go and speak with Sam. Now, in speaking with Sam, I personally don't feel like it was from a good place, or like the intentions were pure. You know, you were overly flirting, overly laughing. Oh my gosh, can I have that ring? Oh my god, yeah. Like, oh, so what are you gonna do? Oh my god, that's a stunning bracelet. Can I hold it? Can I do this? Can I do that? Laughing it off, you know, flirting. And even when she was saying it in her one-to-one, she was just like, honestly, she speaks to guys, it may come across as flirting, but honestly it isn't. And then she laughed. But you know that you have a very interesting situation, and the vibe right now with your current fiance technically is off, and you think this is the time to be doing up chummy with another guy when your fiance can hear you. Like, I just felt like it was a very childish move. I'll be honest with you. I do think it was quite childish, and I do think it was actually quite inconsiderate, because if Freddie done that to her, she would never let him live it down. So do you know what I mean? I feel like Freddie gives her more grace than he gives her. No, yeah, Freddie gives her more grace than she gives him. Now, moving on to Tasha and Tom, they were having a brief conversation just about, you know, it's the first time meeting. He was saying, you know, you're a bit more glam than I thought, but you're a bit nerdy, but it's a fun nerdy and stuff like that. At the same time, Maria was also speaking with Elle, and she was just saying, yeah, them speaking, like, honestly doesn't bother me. Now, what was really weird was, not weird per se, I know that Tasha definitely had feelings for Tom and still does, but, you know, Tasha started saying, you know, I really love you. I think you're a great guy. I think you're absolutely brilliant. I think you're this, I think you're that. I understand you think that, babe, but you also need to read the room and the situation that you're in. And the truth of the matter is that you aren't his fiance at this moment in time. So these conversations, you gotta wrap it up. Okay, you need to wrap up these conversations. What was quite funny as well was Maria and I ended up coming over randomly. She was just like, do you want to go like sit down over there? She didn't even greet Tasha, unless they just cut out that scene, I don't know. But she didn't seem bothered. I don't know what Tasha's intention, yeah, I don't know what her intentions were there, you know. I actually don't know, but I still like Tasha. I think she's really sweet. Honestly, it's a shame that, you know, things didn't work out for her and Tom. But next, let's move on to Benaya now pulling Sam for a chat. And guys, I was absolutely screaming. Benaya and I went outside and he was just like, listen, like, bro, like, I just need to speak to you and everything like that. And then he was just basically speaking about the whole situation with Nicole and everything. And then Sam came out once again. And this is what I said, like, I also don't feel like he's saying these things from a good place. He was just like, yeah, like, did Nicole tell you why we didn't work out? It's because she wanted to be physical with me on there. And he was just, one thing about Benaya is Benaya stands on business, because Benaya was talking, he just said, are you gonna let me finish? Are you done? Okay, are you gonna let me finish? Because I'm still speaking over here. At this point, you can see that Sam was getting quite irritated as well. Like, is this guy on Hollywood? Like, who's this guy think he is? Who's this guy think he's talking to? Blah, 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 blah. But once again, even Benaya was saying, even you just relaying that information back to me is very disrespectful. And one thing I will not allow is for I keep calling her Nicole to be disrespected. So I would say, like, from the situation, you could definitely see that Benaya definitely wears his heart on his sleeve, is a really sweet and lovely guy and really cares for Nicole. And till this day, I still don't feel like Sam had good intentions anyway. And I didn't see Nicole and Sam working out anyway. So yeah. The following morning, so Maria and Tom ended up having a brief conversation about the conversation with Tasha, what happened. You know, Tom did let her know that Tasha did say the L word, and she was just like, yeah, I just find that really disrespectful. Like, why would she do that? That doesn't even make any sense. That's not really nice, blah, blah, blah. Once again, the vibe I was getting was Tom does really like Maria, but he doesn't like her enough to marry her. And I feel like he is in two minds. I do think he did find Tasha also attractive. Obviously, Tasha and Maria look like two completely different people, but they're both very beautiful girls separately as well. So I do, yeah. It's interesting because even when Tasha did have the conversation with Tom, he didn't shut anything down. He was just like, yeah, like, obviously, like, really. Oh. Then he'll sign, he'll sometimes closing his eyes, sometimes holding his nose, like, just different things as well. But I do feel like Tom does have second doubts regarding this, yeah, regarding Maria. As of now, as of this episode, I will find out what happens tomorrow in regards to the weddings very soon. Next, moving on to Steve and Sabrina. So Steve and Sabrina were in Ireland, and they of course were speaking about meeting her family, you know, seeing her childhood home, what's happening when it comes to them moving, etc, etc. We know that Steve did end up meeting her mother, her sister and her friend, I believe. Yeah, her mother, her sister and her friend, and they were asking very interesting questions. You can definitely see that the sister was very skeptical, like, you know, why this experiment? Are you really going to care for my sister? Do you really feel like this is going to work? How do you know it's not a honeymoon phase, etc, etc? But also as well, Steve ended up having a separate conversation with her mother, and obviously was just asking her about, you know, her approval and, you know, how she finds him and the whole situation and everything. And her mum said, honestly, I think you are really lovely and it'll be really nice to see her daughter happy. And she pretty much did give her seal of approval, even though the sister was low-key still on the fence. But I love Sabrina and Steve. I think they work. Like, this experiment really looks like it works for them, and I would really, really, really love them both to say I do, walk down the aisle and make it. Okay, Steve and Sabrina, we're rooting for you. Next, moving on to Demi now meeting Ollie's family. Demi's dad, no, not Demi meeting Ollie's family, Ollie meeting Demi's family, sorry. Of course, Demi's dad was observing Ollie like there was no tomorrow, okay? But they did go bowling, and they also had another one-to-one chat together, in which Ollie was just like saying, you know, I just wanted to speak with you because I know that, you know, you really, really, really love your daughter. I've got 4 sisters, and I know how much my dad loves them, and I just want to let you know that your daughter's in good hands, blah, blah, blah. Honestly, her dad even said it, he can't find a fault in him, and I thought that was really nice because I do feel like Ollie Reed did get on with Demi's family, vice versa as well, but not vice versa, because we didn't meet Ollie's family in this actually, did we? No, we didn't. I wonder why. Did I miss that scene? I don't think I did. Either way, Ollie blends in really well with their family, and there definitely is a good dynamic there. And I do think it was quite respectful that he did decide to pull Demi's dad out, to have a conversation and a one-to-one with him. And he was just saying, honestly, he just wants his daughter to be happy. If his daughter's happy, he's happy as well. Now, before we move on to episode 9, next moving on to Freddie and Kat speaking about their future, her changing. And what was really weird was, like, you know, he was speaking about how much they, you know, how much she's not necessarily low-key changed, but how much she may need to change if things are going to work. And she was like, no, I don't need to change. And then, of course, she did bring up the fact that she was adopted and, you know, she was bullied in school. So that may influence the way that she acts and the reason why she acts a certain way, which is completely understandable. But, you know, of course, for a relationship to work, there has to be a compromise. No one enters a relationship perfect. And if your other half is saying something that probably bothers them, it is very important for you to take it on board, just so that you guys can compromise and actually make things work together. But of course, Freddie now asked her about how she felt about a possible prenup, which was quite interesting because he wants everything to go to his sister. And I'll be honest with you guys, maybe Freddie feels like he's a lot more secure than Catherine is, and just to be on the safe side, he does want to just protect his assets. And bearing in mind, they have actually only been, and I think that's definitely the funeral director in him speaking, he probably has seen many couples with prenups and without, and he's trying to make sure that his assets are covered. But also at the same time, I think, what do you guys feel about prenups? I feel like prenups are necessary, you know. I actually do. And people say, oh, if you get a prenup, it means you're predicting for failure. I don't think it is. Honestly, I think it's very important to ensure that when you do marry someone, you know, it's someone that you really know in and out. They've only known each other for what, 2 to 3 weeks. But also, as well as that, you do want to make sure that your assets are in good hands. And I feel like maybe he's just saying this now because he doesn't actually know her just like that yet, and they are yet to be married. They are going to be married in a matter of days. So maybe this was just him saying just in case, because, you know, whether they're married for 12 hours, 48, 32, like, anything can happen. And if anything does happen, because they have been married now legally, do you know what I mean? So I think it's just because the wedding is coming up soon and he just wants to make sure that his back is covered. But let me know down below if you agree or if you disagree. Now, last but not least, episode 9, guys. We're going to quickly whiz through this and then I'm going to go to bed because it is 1:25 a.m. So let us start off with Benaya's mum and sister meeting Nicole, and she was really worried, just based on what had happened to Sam. Happened with Sam anyway. His mum literally went straight in and was just speaking about how broken he was when he went to Germany. He couldn't eat, like, you know, just it was just a lot going on. And one thing I do appreciate was that Nicole was like, you know, I do feel like I do need to apologize because this didn't just affect him, it affected you guys, and I do just want to let you guys know that I am very sorry. I do feel like his mum and his sister definitely talked to Nicole really well. Nicole has a really good vibe around her anyway, but even when Benaya now went outside to go and speak to his mum pretty much did give him the seal of approval to pursue things with Nicole. And whilst that was going on, Nicole and also his sister were inside, and she was saying, honestly, I think you're really lovely. I feel like I've known you for, yeah, over a year. And she said the same thing as well. So I was really happy to see the good vibes between them. I definitely do understand that with the whole Sam situation, that definitely put a spanner in the works. But just because Benaya and Nicole are so strong, they were definitely able to build up that foundation for their family to see as well. Next, moving on to Catherine now meeting Catherine's friends, now meeting Freddie. Of course, they were asking about what he does, about wedding planning, etc., etc. And they asked him, if he thinks that she's high maintenance. And he was just like, yeah, like I do kind of feel that she is, like, you know, she loves to go out to all these fancy places, and, you know, I'm a homebody and I don't really do things like that. And then what annoyed me was, like, Catherine literally just jumped in and was just like, you act like I go to Nobu every single day. Like, that's so annoying. I'm not this type of girl. Like, that just pisses me off. And I just felt like, in the presence of your friends who actually don't even know this guy, yeah, it's not nice. Do you get what I mean? Like, I just don't feel like she reads the room sometimes. I'm so sorry. So obviously Freddie and I went off to go and get some drinks, and then she mentioned the whole prenup thing to her friends, and her friends were just like, oh, like, don't you think like that's a bit controlling? And I just thought, okay, no, I don't think it's that deep to call it controlling. He's just really trying to protect his assets prior to marrying your friends. But also as well, I feel like the prenup question for the friends were just like, yeah, doesn't that mean that he's kind of preparing for failure and that type of, and a lot of people do feel that way when it comes to prenups, which I understand. But like I said, they are getting married in a couple of days and he doesn't know this girl. It would be very, very silly for him to not have a prenup prior to the wedding when he's only marrying a girl that he met 2 weeks ago. Do you get what I mean? And if he wants, can't he retract that prenup after the wedding? I'm sure he can. I think, anyway. I don't know. I haven't been married before. But yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like Catherine and Freddie are compatible. That's the reality. I think they like each other. They are attracted to each other. But in terms of being compatible long term, especially in marriage, I definitely do not see it. Now let's move on to Jasmine and Bobby meeting Jasmine's mum, who's absolutely gorgeous. My gosh, she's absolutely stunning. And obviously she already did pre-warn him that her mum, is a straight shooter. When she was younger, she used to go through her phone. She'll call every single number. Anyone who was a guy, she'll call back and say, never call my daughter again. So I was even thinking that, oh, she's just saying that to it. No. Her mum, her mum is an absolute straight 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. She's a straight shooter. Okay. So the mum now came in. She was even just like, he was just like, you know, come in, you know, would you like a drink? Would you like something to eat? She was like, no, I don't feel like I'm gonna eat. Sat down, boom. First things first was, you know, who are you? Why do you want to marry my daughter? Do you have an education? Obviously he was just like, he used to go to school, but then he dropped out to pursue this, to pursue that. Her mum now went in and straight up said, you know, it's very hard to communicate with uneducated people. And you know what? I hear it. Okay. One thing I'm not going to do is argue with an uneducated person about a topic that I know they don't know about, because I'm wasting my time. Okay, I'm absolutely wasting my time. So of course, like by this point you can see that Bobby was still answering the questions, but he was a bit thrown off, especially when she was speaking about, you know, where you guys gonna live, and he was saying, yeah, like we're looking to relocate maybe, and she was like, that's not going to be good for the family, you know, Jasmine tells me everything, blah blah blah. Jasmine now butted in and she was just like, yeah mum, but I'm not going to tell you like everything, like, because anything I tell you is going to reflect negatively on him. She was just like, no, I must know. I know everything. Jasmine tells me everything. I'm her best friend. I'm her. And I do appreciate that, because I definitely can see that her mum is very stern and just wants the best for her daughter. But also at the same time, I'm actually quite glad that Jasmine actually butted in that instance to just let her know that, mum, I honestly can't tell you everything, because I don't want that to now be an issue in my marriage. And I actually do really like this guy. You could definitely see that Bobby was, he was taken back. Okay, gasp, jump scare. Now, of course, Jasmine and her mum now went to the room, and you know, Jasmine's mum, you can tell that she's not strict and stern because she wants to be annoying. She's strict and stern out of love. Like, honestly, a mother's love, okay? But she's strict and stern out of love. And you know, her mum has had 2 marriages, and I do think, you know, a mother's love is unmatched at the end of the day. I don't think anyone can say their mum is doing too much or too little. Parents, by God's grace, just want the best for their children, and you can definitely see that she's able to do that by being controlling, by monitoring the things that are going on in her daughter's life, because she just wants the best for her. I'm getting really deep for no reason. I do think Bobby and Jasmine are in it for the long run. I think they look really good together. I think there is genuine love there, and I think they're both caring to one another, you know, body of a dancer. She got a body of a dancer. Yeah, I do think they're really caring towards one another. Now, last but not least, let us move on to, no, second to last but not least, let's move on to Maria and Tom meeting his sister. So of course they spoke about their time together. The whole ice cream situation came up again as well. Like I said, even the sister said it. The sister was like, honestly, like, it's just ice cream, but it's deeper than, you know, it just being ice cream. It's part of a tradition. And I understand that, like, for example, there are some things that I just naturally expect from my partner as well. And it's things I will never compromise on, because it's just it's how I've been raised. It's my culture. It's how things have always been. And I don't see myself changing it anytime soon. But I will definitely say that I do feel like the younger sister, I think her name's Megan. I think Megan was the younger sister. Got the older sister one, but the younger sister one was definitely Megan. She was just like, honestly, like, I really like you. And I do feel like Megan was a lot more welcoming and opening to Maria, if I'll be honest with you, than the other sister there. But yeah, once again, I do feel like Maria is definitely in it more than Tom. And last but not least, Freddie meeting Catherine's parents. Her parents were really cute, really lovely. They actually did say that they adopted Catherine at 11 weeks old, which is absolutely insane. So they are her parents, you know, they've grown up with her, they've seen her. They said she was a perfect baby. She was very active, which clearly reflects her lifestyle now, because she loves to go out. She really loves to be out there. But they were really cute. They did really like Freddie, and they also feel like Freddie was very respectful. Last but not least, we'll get into the wedding dress and the suit shopping. Guys, I can't wait for my wedding. Honestly, I don't know when it is, but I think wedding dress shopping is just the absolute cutest. I won't get into all of the discussions that took place, but guys, I was actually crying when the ladies were trying on their dresses, and be able to have your loved ones there. They had their friends, they had their parents, they had their sisters, they had their best friends. Like, it was just so lovely seeing each of them try on such beautiful dresses and just get emotional as they spoke about their journey to where they are right now. And I was shedding a little one-two tear. I'm a bit emotional. know, I am on my period, that's probably why. But yeah, it was actually really sweet. And of course the guys were also wearing their suits as well and getting advice from their best friends, their best mans, their brothers, and everyone else who was in attendance for them. So guys, that is the end of episode 7, 8 and 9. I know this was a very long review. Like I said, it is currently 1:33 a.m. so tomorrow morning, if not before work, on my break, I am going to watch episodes 10 and 11, and then I'm going to post that review. I'm going to quickly edit this tonight. It's 1:34, so if I edit this, I could be done by 2. Yeah, I'm going to edit this tonight, and then I'm going to post this tomorrow morning and make it go live to go tomorrow, well, today, as you're watching it. And then later on in the day, I'm going to have my finale review for episodes 10 and 11. But yeah, guys, honestly, I think it was a great episode. The season has been absolutely phenomenal. I really enjoyed it. And tomorrow I'm going to see the weddings. I wonder who's going to say yes and who's going to say no. That's what I wonder. I really do wonder, but we'll see. Okay, and yeah, we'll get into it tomorrow. Well, today, later on. But anyway, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, for your love and for your support. I really appreciate it. If you haven't yet subscribed, be sure to subscribe. Then join the family. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Twitter. Do. And take care. Stay blessed. And I shall see you very soon.